Good morning and welcome to the Cincinnati, USA Regional Chambers Member Benefit Briefings. Today's session is aimed to help you and your business navigate the COVID-19 crisis with solutions working from home, which I'm sure we all need right about now. I'm Beth Mcneil, Senior Director of Sales and Engagement. Thank you for joining us this morning. Let us know how we can help your business weather the current climate by reaching out through the Chamber's Business Resource Helpline at 513-579-3111, and be sure to sign up for our daily emails at cincinnatiChamber.com. Today's member benefit briefing is spotlighting our partner, Advanced Technology Consulting. You've joined our briefing in listen-only mode with your microphones muted. Questions for our experts can be submitted in writing through Zoom's Q&A function. We'll cover as many questions as we can within our 30-minute time frame, and if you've joined us by phone or need to sign off sooner, you can simply view the full webinar posted on cincinnatiChamber.com within the next 1 to 2 days. The Cincinnati, USA Regional Chamber is proud to have ATC as a valuable, longtime partner serving our members. Today, I'm joined by Louis Holmeyer and Nick Anger from ATC. Nick Anger is ATC's Chief Technology Officer and Senior Consultant, and Nick is also a certified telecom professional. Louis Holmeyer is ATC's Director of Marketing and Consultant. Good morning, Nick. Good morning, Louis.
Morning. Good morning.
In the wake of COVID-19 pandemic, Advanced Technology Consulting has been working diligently to assist companies in the Cincinnati region with their work from home efforts. ATC has deep experience within the cloud communications and conferencing space, and has also been assisting with networking and bandwidth upgrades necessary to support current work from home efforts. We're glad you've joined us for this important informational session to hear from the ATC team about this very relevant member benefit in this current climate. You'll get tips about transitioning your remote workforce into a cohesive team, and learn about the tools to help with your remote work enablement. Today, the Cincinnati Regional Chamber has a total of 11 benefit partners who offer ways to save money and enhance your current business. Please make sure you check out all of our partners at cincinnatiChamber.com/save to maximize your membership. You've already purchased your membership, and these partner relationships are here to serve you. Make sure you're paying attention to special COVID offers. A quick note, if you're interested in receiving a call today from ATC, type your contact information in and someone from ATC, Louis or Nick, will reach you today. I know everyone's ready to learn about the very generous offer that ATC is going to provide us for the month of May. So let's jump into what people are here for: strategies and tools for working remote in the now normal at home. So Louis, let's start with a question for you. Many businesses had to quickly adapt to mandated stay-at-home orders. How have you been assisting, and what are you seeing right now versus a month ago?
Thank you, Beth, for having us today. We've been part of the benefit program with the Chamber for 5 years now, and it's been a great partnership, and I just want to thank you for having us today. You know, as soon as DeWine made his order on Sunday, I don't know, around 4 or 5, the stay-at-home order, you know, ATC, fortunately, you know, we've been adopting cloud technologies for some time now. We were able to be 100% operational and 100% work from home the very next morning, which has become professionally rewarding because that enabled us to allow and help other companies do the same. Some were not ready, but at last count, which was 2 weeks after that order, we had helped Cincinnati companies and regional companies and national companies move 10,000 people where they were working in an office to work from home, where they were able to receive calls from home, where they were able to collaborate in video conference. That's been very rewarding. Some companies were not fortunate enough to have had the foresight to move to the cloud or do things of that nature, and they sent their employees home knowing that full well that they couldn't work. It was effectively paid leave. And then others sent them home to work. They were able to work, but all their applications were premise-based, and everybody was phoning home, so to speak. And there wasn't enough VPN tunneling, and people were getting the spinning wheel. So we've seen people make that transition to work from home, and I think people have stabilized, and now they're starting to think about, you know, what they're going to do in the future, because things are going to be inevitably be changed from here on out.
10,000 people. That's a tremendous amount.
Yes.
Sources.
A lot of that is just enabling workers with soft phone applications where they can receive phone calls on their cell phone as if they're in the office, or literally taking their handset and moving it to their home and allowing them to effectively work from home as if they're in the office.
I know we have done that here at the Chamber, and it's made a huge difference. And you're absolutely right. I think within 24, 48 hours, we were all thrust into, we are now neck deep in trying to figure out technical solutions. What are the common characteristics of successful work from home initiatives? They look really different, and what technologies are being leveraged right now?
Well, I think the obvious one is plenty of bandwidth, particularly if you're at home, and this is for the individual at home. Bandwidth is relatively inexpensive in residential areas. Bump up that bandwidth so you can do the video conferencing and things of that nature. Other businesses that have been successful are the ones that have adopted cloud telephony or hosted VoIP, unified communications as a service. And that has enabled them to chat and message and video conference off of one platform at home as if they're in the office. So, and the other common characteristic is collaboration. You know, what we're doing here face to face. I think it's very important that in today's new world that we do video conferencing, and we just don't do audio conferencing, because that interaction, you feel the inflection of people's voices and their body language, and it's very important. So, and then, I mentioned it, multi-channel communications, being able to video conference and chat and message. I use more means of communication now at home than I did in the office. So it's been, those are the common characteristics. Nick, do you have anything to add there?
Yeah, I would say from a more technical aspect, we've seen a lot of organizations where they had the individuals phoning home or VPNing back to the office. We found that they didn't have adequate bandwidth for having everybody connect via VPN back to the office. We had significant increases in bandwidth requirements at the headquarters, and nobody would really think about that, but they're used to having everybody in-house and having the servers accessed in-house that didn't require bandwidth. Now, as we pushed everybody to a work from home environment, we needed to bring more bandwidth to the table just to be able to support those users. So yeah, just a little food for thought there.
Yeah, businesses only had the capacity, only 10% of their workforce worked from home. Now all of a sudden within 24 hours, 100% are working from home. So being able to dial up and do those type of things and pivot was very critical.
That's a huge shift, 10% to 100% overnight. Please, quick reminder, if you're interested in receiving a phone call from ATC, don't hesitate to type in your contact information and someone will reach you today. The analysis and evaluation that they do is at no cost to our members, just to take a look and connect to help our members. So please take a look. Type in your contact information. They'd love to talk to you today. Louis, you work with a lot of chamber members. Do you have any success stories on how businesses are pivoting right now to be productive and relevant during these uncertain times?
Yeah, I inferred that a little bit before. I think people they've made do and they've made it happen. And it wasn't pretty sometimes, but they're surviving. And we're going to get into this a little bit later regarding our special program here for chamber members. But I think what's important now is that companies you know, the successful ones are pivoting. You know, they've made do, they're surviving, they're pivoting, and they're looking to cut, you know, everybody needs to cut costs short term to, you know, weather the storm, but then they're also looking to, you know, transform, because, you know, it's never going to change. It's never going to go back the way it was. It's the new normal. Hopefully things will go back to some sense of normalcy, but, you know, the landscape has changed. So looking at transformation, and we're going to look to help the chambers out with that through our BLB program, which we'll talk about here in a little bit. Do you have anything to add there, Nick?
No, I think you did a great job on that one. The biggest pivot that I'm seeing here is folks are looking at technology, leveraging technology to enhance their business more so than they have in the past. In the past, certain organizations we've talked to, technology was a cost center. Whether it be a phone system or a server is like, I don't want to replace that server, it's just another expense. Now they're looking at it as, how is it going to enhance my business? Because we need it to be functional. We need to be able to be mobile and still operate. To Louis' point a little bit ago is, yeah, the new normal, this might be here for a little bit. So we need to be able to operate our business accordingly.
Let me add there, in the old world, sometimes I dealt with business owners, or we dealt with business owners that saw technology as a cost center. And even you think about connectivity, right? And they kind of wanted to go cheap on connectivity. And yet when you talk to them, you know, you ask them, what happens if your internet goes down? What, you know, and they'd say, well, all the employees, they go home. Right.
Mm-hmm.
And so you have this umbilical cord that it's this business critical umbilical cord, and people want to treat it like a cost center. It's really a strategic advantage if you can have plenty of bandwidth and enable your employees to be as productive as possible.
Very helpful. Thank you. Nick, I know you've been doing extensive consulting for a lot of your clients. Can you share any tips or things to watch out for?
Oh, sure. I mean, if you think about it, we've sent the workforce home, and now we have our exposure plane is so much greater now that we have these individuals out of the office, that were in the bricks and mortar, that were protected by the corporate firewalls and so on. Now we've spread that out, and that exposure plane just becomes so much greater with everybody working remotely. So it's very important how we are connecting back to the office and back to the business critical applications. I mean, first and foremost, if you're connecting to a server or back to headquarters, you need to be using some type of VPN client, making sure that you're just simple things like your antivirus or endpoint protection is up to date, making sure that your computer is patched properly. Even down to the little things like Office 365, making sure like anywhere that you have multi-factor authentication available, that you're using it. The bad guys that are out there are using this as a feeding ground right now, because the end users are out in the wild, wild west, if you will. So those are the main things that I would talk about, and making sure that any communication platform that you're using is encrypted. And I know that there's been a lot of conversations about Zoom and the different video conferencing solutions. Zoom is, depending on the version that you're using, is encrypted. And if you're in the Zoom platform right now, if you went up in the top left-hand corner, you see the lock with the E in it. And if you hover over it, it does say that your client connection is encrypted. So this is an encrypted communication. So that's very important to make sure that if we're using this for a business platform, that it is a standard and secure platform.
Nick makes
Great information. I'm sorry, go ahead, Louis.
Nick makes a good point. You'd think that during this time that the bad threat actors would maybe take a break and give everybody a chance to do what they need to do, but it's more intrusive now, and it's exploding exponentially in terms of the threats and the attacks, the cyber attacks right now.
And I would believe the evaluation that you all provide, just given what you just shared, Nick, is invaluable to a lot of businesses who may not have been focused on technology as a top priority, but now you're sending novice users home to try and figure it out on their own and put really put the company at risk for data, for information, financially. So there's a lot of things to consider. So I think a phone call to ATC just to do an evaluation and kick the tires of where you are now versus where you were a month ago is well worth 10, 15-minute phone call just to check in with our partners. So again, I'd encourage everyone to reach out, type in your contact information. They'd love to talk to you. Let's shift to a question that I think most people are probably wondering. How do you think COVID-19 will change the way that we work, and what technology trends do you anticipate as a result of COVID and we move forward?
Yeah, that's a good question. I think one of the ways that, we're going to be more, the way we work, we're going to need to be more mobile, work anywhere, anytime. And this was already coming with the millennial workforce. I mean, we saw it coming. That's what millennials want. They want to be able to work anytime, anywhere, in the coffee shop, in the office, at home, at their kids' practice in the evening, right? So this was coming, and it was forcing the adoption of cloud technologies, hosted voice over IP. So that adoption was already increasing prior to COVID-19. What has happened now is that's going to accelerate cloud adoption in all forms. I mean, cloud has had a lot of moxie, but it's got much more moxie now. And that goes for, hosted VoIP, unified communications as a service.
I would add to that, Louis. I mean, it's really about allowing your employees to communicate and work the way they want to work and where they want to work. It falls really on the business unit or the IT specifically to allow them to do it in a secure and standardized platform. So it falls back to the business unit to be able to come up with those solutions for allowing those millennial workers to work how they want to work and do it in a secure fashion.
Nick brings up a good point, because what he alluded to there is, you have people going out and working from home, and and you mentioned this earlier, Beth, trying to figure it out themselves, which brings on shadow IT. I don't know if you heard about shadow IT, but that's when employees go out and adopt technologies that aren't endorsed or pushed out by the IT department just because they need to, because they have to, and they're not encrypted, they're not safe, and you have a bunch of shadow IT going on. So something to be careful of that shadow IT adoption, and that you push out technologies and platforms so that doesn't happen.
Shadow IT. I learned a new term, and I'm sure it's new for a lot of our listeners. But again, this is terrific information. We've all been thrust into a now normal, which is quickly, rapidly moving to a new normal. And these are the things that we need to know to be successful. Businesses are struggling in a lot of areas right now, but technology doesn't need to be the thing that you're struggling with. One final question for you, Louis. Mm-hmm. If I'm a Cincinnati Chamber member, what's a unique offering from ATC that I can't get anywhere else?
Yeah, well, one of our intellectual property, one of the things that we do particularly well is, you can see on the screen here, is move people through our process. It's a proven process. There's no shortcuts. And at the top of that process is assessments and audits. And this goes back to, okay, we need to cut costs to weather a storm, but we need to pivot and take a look at transformation and what technologies are going to adopt. And the top part of this process, and we're offering usually we have a $750 credit toward that process. Now we're extending that up and doubling it to $1,500 to do that free audit and assessment for chamber members. And that'll allow them to take a look and get a snapshot of exactly what they have going on right now from a voice and data communication services. Who the provider is, the account numbers, the account ID, circuit IDs, the contract end dates and things like that. And it gives a great snapshot of what you got going on. And you can find immediate cost savings through that process. And there's a tangible deliverable, a document that shows you exactly what you have going on. And that helps you pivot and take a look at, a transformation of what you might want to do in the future when the time is right.
That is exceptionally generous. I just want to clarify, normal offer for chamber members is a $750 credit. it has now been doubled. Thank you, ATC, for a $1,500 credit for chamber members to receive a thorough audit and assessment. So there's no cost for the discussion, but $1,500 towards the work, which far outweighs the cost of membership. So as you think about your membership, $1,500 far outweighs most chamber memberships. So just getting involved in starting the work with ATC could pay return on investment of your membership through one partnership.
Yes.
Is that correct, Louis?
Yes, Beth. This process, you know, it's a paid process for our clients that aren't chamber members. But again, you can find cost savings right away. You can strategically plan. If we are able, or if we do move you on to more strategic services going forward, you know, and get your future state where you need it to be, and you follow this process, ATC will continue to be by your side and provide super support down the road, which means if you have any issues with any of those service providers, new service providers, and you just want one person, one place to call, you can call ATC Super Support. We have a group of individuals there that can take care of your problems right away. A lot of times it's one call resolution and you take care of it. You know, a lot of people, you know, get frustrated with telecommunications because year in and year out, it's at the lowest of all the industries in customer satisfaction and customer support. People call in, they get a ticket taker who doesn't know who they are. They have to give their information and then hang up the phone, and then they wait for a call back. You call ATC, we already know you, we're your business partner, and we take care of it right away.
Super support in a time where a lot of folks are waiting on hold, standing in lines. There's a lot of frustration right now to get resources. So super support, I know, makes all of the difference. The personal connection, the consultation that people are going to receive. We are proud to have ATC as a partner, and I absolutely know that the super service does make a difference. So thank you for that. I'd like to thank both Louis and Nick for great information. Let's shift now and take some questions from our attendees. I see one here. Who's the correct person at a company that should be reaching out to ATC to get started?
If there's an IT resource already on staff, that's a good person to reach out. Somebody who's in charge of the financials is a good person to reach out, particularly when we're talking about cost savings. Those like IT manager, director of IT, CTO, CIO, CFO, CEO, you know, a lot of visionary CEOs, you know, are happy to reach out. It's a pretty easy process. All we really need to do to get started is get a copy of your recent invoices. And then we go from there.
Terrific. Another question, does someone have to be a chamber member to get started?
Well, naturally, we have customers that aren't chamber members, but I would encourage everybody to be a chamber member and then get that $1,500 credit.
Absolutely. And we'd be happy to extend membership to anyone who's not a member today and may be interested. As you heard from the savings offer from ATC, membership could pay for itself just by getting started today with ATC.
Mm-hmm.
One other question that's coming in, does it matter that I am a small to mid-sized business and not a corporation and need help in this area?
No, not at all. I mean, that's, you know, small to mid-sized businesses are the ones that are strapped for IT resources. That's why, you know, you want to reach out to ATC because you have somebody on the same side of the table as you that's, you know, that is your trusted partner, your trusted advisor that's independent, right? We're not confined to a certain product set. We'll go out and take a look at, you know, the local providers, CBTS or CenturyLink or a Spectrum on the connectivity side. If it's a phone system, we'll take a look at a Vonage or a RingCentral or CBTS. You know, we are not concerned about the brand of shoe that you put on. We just want to make sure it's the right fit, right? It's the right size, and it's the right price. We do this day in and day out, so we know where the bottom is, and we can get you the best price. A lot of times when we reach out to providers, because of who we are, independent consultants, they know inherently by who we are, they're in a competitive situation, which creates an awesome, customer friendly environment to get you the right price and get you that right shoe, whether it's Nike or Converse, or is Converse around still? Adidas or Puma or whomever.
A terrific analogy, Louis. I think everybody can relate to being brand agnostic, but everybody wants great service at the lowest price. One final question I see here. What are the hours for super service line if somebody needs help?
Yeah, so our super support team is typical, Monday through Friday, 8 to 5. But, anybody who deals with us knows that we answer the phone, we watch our email in the off hours, those type of things. So let me just explain. So if you signed up for a service with CBTS, you're still a direct customer CBTS, and you still have all the levers and support mechanisms, the 24/7 stuff. You might go offshore, you might not, you might end up in Texas, who knows? But you still have those support mechanisms at your disposal. What you have with ATC is another added layer of service and support, somebody that's on your team that knows who you are, knows what services you have, and can take care of you. So that another added layer of service and support is really what people value. So although super support is not 24/7, 365, it's highly responsive, and they already know you. We already know you, and we are definitely working off hours. It's just that, the typical Monday through Friday, 8 to 5 is what's publicized.
Terrific information. Again, I think the partnership for the Chamber, 5 years running, has been invaluable to our members. We thank you for everything that you do at ATC. This offer today, ATC has been generous enough to extend this offer through May. We're going to post this webinar on the website so folks can reference it. We hope that you take them up on the opportunity just to take a look at your technology. Everyone at this point can definitely benefit from the opportunity to enhance your speed. As Nick shared with us, being encrypted matters. Shadowing IT, Louis has taught us today. There are a lot of things that we need to be looking at that we may not even know. And a simple call to ATC with super support makes all the difference. These are our partners. They're here to consult with you. They're here to serve you. As they've shared with you, they are agnostic to the solution that they provide, the provider that is, but they are guaranteed to give you excellent customer service and do what is going to be the best for you and your company. So I'd like to thank Louis and Nick for being with us today. Your expertise has been invaluable, not only to our members, but to all of our guests. I'd like to thank the two people behind the scenes who made today possible for us, Andrea Saunders and Lindsay Bujnak, who made all of the webinar today possible. Please join me every Tuesday at 9:30 for a brief discussion with a Chamber benefit partner. Next week, we'll be talking about payment processing relief programs with Infintech. We'd love to have ATC back again. I know that the topic today was relevant. And as we move through our current COVID situation into what will be the new in a couple of weeks, I think we could host this conversation again and learn based on where we are in the current business climate. Please stay tuned this week for additional business briefings. Tomorrow, Wednesday, will be a blueprint on responsible return from Kroger. I think everyone can relate to what's happening in the business community. Most of us are consumers of Kroger, and we're watching what's happening. So learn from the blueprint on how they are evolving as a business during COVID. Thursday will be a manufacturing peer-to-peer roundtable, which will be an interactive session. And then Friday, we're going to review election results. So be sure to end your week with us and learn about election results and what that may mean for you. If you're interested in maximizing your membership at the Chamber today, or just learning about becoming a member, please reach out to us at 513-579-3111, or just simply go to cincinnatiChamber.com/membership. Thank you to our members, sponsors, and investors who all make the work of the Chamber possible. We appreciate you being with us today. Stay safe, stay connected, and stay encouraged.